In today's video, we're continuing our journey to the Maldives. We'll check out the JW Hanoi, get food poisoning in Singapore, stay at the Shangri-La Colombo, and fly Sri Lankan Business Class. This is from the time capsule and one of our more insane trips I'm happy to share. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, and if you like travel, consider subscribing. Hey guys, it's Sebastian and welcome to the Grand Suite at the JW Marriott Hanoi. One of the largest suites in the whole property, and I think it's the third largest, the other ones being the presidential and the chairman suites, which are crazily priced. If we keep walking, over here we see this little glass decoration area with a bunch of snacks if you want anything. If you are on this floor though, you probably have status and you have access to that lounge, so you're probably better off going there instead of eating the snacks here, which are going to be prohibitively expensive. You have the dining room area where you can have meetings, very important meetings. So if you're leading a talk, some cool interpretive art as well. Kind of reminds me of Hoi An with the river, but that's just a guess. And then over here, you have the view of the front area. And if you walk over, you can see the whole driving entryway. It's pretty well designed. It kind of reminds me of a spaceship looking at some pictures, but it's just not a boring tower, which I'm a pretty big fan of. Walking over here, you have a chair as well as a ton of different outlets to get some work done, and also like presentation type outlets for audio and video stuff. Pretty big sofa over here. Actually pretty comfortable as well. I did not expect it to be comfortable. Sometimes I jump onto these seats and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be comfortable, and they're not, but I could relax here for an hour working or watching TV. So that's nice. This one's not comfortable, so I would sit on that one. There's going to be a TV here that can adjust and move based off where you are in the room. This is going to be, wrong button. This is going to be the bedroom side. So the idea is that you might have some meetings over there. You probably want to close these doors, and then this is where you're staying. Anyways, there's a safe here and other amenities and stuff. Bathrobe. This is actually a really big closet. Didn't even really notice it until now. I just spent the last 2 minutes looking for a light and I can't find one, but pretty straightforward closet, pretty much an open concept. Let's head over to the rest of the room. You have another work desk. You have a king size bed over here. I really like the decorations. So the lights are a nice touch, that it's not just a boring thing that is over here, bedside. It's this fixture. These windows are automatic if you touch them, apparently. So you have a view of downtown, some of the industrial stuff over there, some of the taller buildings. There's some restaurants outside as well, and just more of the same view that we saw previously. Oh, we don't have a lakeside view. That's the other side. Well, that's fine. This is going to be the bathroom. Pretty big tub. You could comfortably relax in here. There's also a TV behind me and a few different remotes in the bathroom for the TV. So if you want to sit on the other side and actually enjoy that. Toilet over here. Pretty straightforward. I've already been in there. Not the most interesting. Over here is the shower. So you have two different options. You have the normal one and then the one up there. Even if you're Shaq or Yao Ming or something, you should be fine. I think if you're over 7 feet, then that might be problematic, but I can't even touch the top. I can jump and touch it, but I can't touch it right now. Some doors if you want to lock your camera woman in the bathroom for whatever reason. Yeah, pretty straightforward tour. There's some more buttons here if you want to play with the temperature or if you want to open and close things. But overall, pretty cool room. I like the fact that it is so big. I feel like a lot of the other rooms, other hotels we've been to in Hanoi tend to be a bit smaller. They're also a bit cheaper though, so that's a balancing act. This property is typically about $150 to about $300 a night. With that said, I still think we have time to get some drinks before happy hour ends, so let's go over there. The JW sits on a small lake in West Hanoi, next to the Vietnam National Convention Center. It's a quiet, business-friendly option with a ton of features. This includes a pool on the 28th floor that's about 90 feet long and looks amazing at night. There's also a bunch of pretty cute seats as well. Lockers have sauna, steam, and a whirlpool. The gym is 24 hours and has a full cardio and strength setup and plenty of room for floor work if that's your jam. This hotel has one of the best JW executive lounges we've been to. You get access with Platinum Elite status and up, or by booking a room that includes it. Breakfast is a proper spread with hot items and eggs to order. Daytime service has coffee, soft drinks, and light snacks, which helps if you're jet lagged or working. Afternoon tea bridges the gap, and evening cocktails come with canapes that can pass as a light dinner when you're not looking for a full meal. If you're eligible for US credit cards, reminder that there are some that offer Platinum Elite status as a benefit. If you want to learn more about cards, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you don't want to add another card, another option is VIP booking portals. For example, if you book directly on their site, the public rate is $244. Using something like Cardonomics, you have the same $244 public rate, but through Marriott Luminous. This is their VIP program for JW, Westin, Autograph, and W hotels. This gets you daily complimentary breakfast for 2, room upgrades, and welcome amenity. If you don't have status, the perks are usually worth the small premium, but your mileage may vary. If you want to book through Cardonomics, I'll put a link with the current password down below. One downside of the hotel is that you are a bit away from the old quarters. This was our 3rd time visiting the city, so not a big deal, but not the most convenient if you are in tourist mode. Also, if you've never crossed the street in Vietnam before, it's definitely an experience. Streetlights don't exist for some streets, so you just have to walk in a predictable way to get across. Pretty much the definition of controlled chaos. Welcome to Long Binh. This is one of the other major Instagram attractions that people in Hanoi like to go to and pretty much take pictures. The thing though is that this is actually a live train track, railroad, and there's trains that come through, but it's not as often as I think some of the other places. So I think as long as you know the schedule, you should be fine. It's also on a bridge with 2 other kind of like mini highways for motorbikes. So there's a lot of tourists that like to come here to take pictures and a lot of honking and stuff. Make sure you don't fall because I think it's GG if you fall. Probably at least 20 feet, maybe 30 feet. So yeah, don't fall. Since closing down Train Street, a lot more people have decided to come here instead because it's one of the only other options. I feel like Train Street was a bit safer though, given that you're not suspended over something and it just feels like a more controlled area than this. So there was a train. We just finished doing a shoot on the bridge. I think it's substantially more dangerous than what Train Street was initially when we were here last time. So I actually think they're better off reopening that. But I think the trains are going a bit faster is the main difference. The station is Long Binh. Type into Google Maps, it should show up. It is a bit of a walk from Old Town, about 30 minutes, but it's a nice walk if you pick the right streets. Yeah, I check it out, do some pictures, make sure to be aware of trains. After recovering for 2 nights, we were back to the airport for our next flight. At the time, we had Delta Diamond status, which meant we had SkyTeam Elite Plus. Since Vietnam Airlines is part of SkyTeam, we got a ton of benefits, including priority lines and also extra baggage allowance. Another perk is lounge access, even though we were flying in economy. Their business class lounge is called Lotus, and it's just okay. The space has runway views, working Wi-Fi, and a self-serve buffet. Expect Asian and Western hot items and basic beer, wine, and spirits. Nothing really jumped out as amazing though, just passable with that. Showers are available and functional, not luxury spa suites. This is one of the lounges you could probably skip and you're probably not missing out. Since we had SkyTeam Plus, they assigned us exit row seats at check-in. This is the Airbus A321 and the exit row has a ton of legroom. One thing I love about Asian Airlines is the food. Even though it was a short 3.5-hour flight, there was a full meal service. Nothing too crazy, but better than some meals I've had on US carriers. After landing in Singapore, we headed to G Hotel Orchard. This is their first location outside of China, and it's meant as a compact mid-scale option. We're starting off in this little corner, and maybe I am biased, but this little tea set makes the room look a lot more interesting. So it is going to be very compact and small. It reminds me of Japanese rooms and homes that everything is very, very efficiently designed and built. And if we turn around and take a look, we can see that. Over here we have the bed. Down here we have a tiny little mini fridge, perfect for drinks if you want to bring anything back. You have this couch area, you have a painting, and then if we circle over here, we have a pretty big TV. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have a TV at home, I just use a computer monitor. Having something this big is actually pretty impressive. Coming over here, we have the closet. So this is pretty much the closet right here. And then sink and mirror. You have some cups and ooh. So this is going to be the bathroom. You have a toilet seat here and then the shower here. We are using a pretty wide lens, so hopefully you can see a bit more of the detail of the room. But if you are looking at it with your normal eyes, it does feel a bit smaller, but it's very well designed that it doesn't feel cramped. I'm someone that gets claustrophobic, and this is actually pretty fine with me.
There's also a 24-hour fitness center and a self-service laundry room. Nothing too crazy, but perfect if you're out all day, either exploring or visiting friends or family. One of our favorite parts about Singapore is the food. It's a melting pot of Asian cuisines and usually pretty affordable as well. For whatever reason, I had an itch for sushi and we decided to get end-of-day grocery store sashimi that looked good and tasted fine, but was not fine. I ended up getting food poisoning while Mandy somehow didn't. The next morning I woke up and felt terrible. I somehow pulled myself to a WeWork to meet up with people, but it was definitely a struggle. Also one of the nicest co-working spaces we've seen. We ended up going to Din Tai Fung for lunch, but I literally couldn't eat. After nothing wanted to stay down or in, we ended up going to Crawford Medical in Suntec City. Fast forward 20 minutes and they saw me and prescribed medicine, all for about $70 US. The next day we headed to the airport. After checking in and dropping off our luggage, we headed to Jewel. This is a glass dome attached to Changi, sitting landside with direct link bridges to the terminals. The centerpiece is the Rain Vortex, a 40-meter indoor waterfall that drops 7 stories into the atrium. Around the waterfall is the Shiseido Forest Valley, a multi-level indoor garden with more than 900 trees and roughly 60,000 shrubs. Canopy Park is the paid level on the top floor and is about $8. This paid entry covers discovery slides, foggy bowls, pedal garden, and the topiary walk. The premium items, Canopy Bridge, the mazes, and the bouncing or walking nets are separate tickets or bundles. Depending on when you come, they also have decorations. There's also a ton of restaurants, cafes, and shops at Jewel. One of the most popular picks being Shake Shack, as you can see from the line. Also one of the larger Apple stores we've seen. Definitely a ton to see or do, and you could probably spend a few hours here and be a happy camper. Alternatively, if you'd rather sit and relax, Changi is probably the #1 airport for Priority Pass lounges. Funny enough, Jewel actually has a lounge as well. Terminal 1 has 3 lounges, with Plaza and Sats being our picks. Terminal 2 has 2 options. Terminal 3 has 3, with Sats being an awesome choice. Terminal 4 has Blossom. Speaking of which, let's check out Blossom. So this lounge has a darker and moodier vibe, but is pretty big with a ton of seating. Also one of the most tasty laksas I've had in Singapore, so hard to complain. Next up, we headed to Sats Premier Lounge in T3. Laksa here is more simple, but also really good as well. As you can tell, I like laksa and finally had an appetite again after not eating for 36 hours. Our favorite spot after eating is by the massage chairs in the back corner. Not the biggest lounge, but it's usually not crowded, and laksa and massage chairs are easy wins in my book. The last lounge is the Marhaba Lounge in T3. Lots of seating and a pretty big lounge, but food was pretty uninspired. Nothing to write home about, but your mileage may vary. Boarding the plane, we didn't realize what we were in for. Sri Lankan's older long-haul business class is the 222 layout on the A330-200. It has 18 lie-flat seats across 3 rows, with about 79 inches of pitch and 21 inches of width. The first thing you notice is the legroom, which is nice. It's flat and roomy, but privacy is limited compared to newer 121 suites. The trade-off is aisle access. Window pairs don't have a direct aisle, so you'll step over a neighbor if they're sleeping. Row 1 has a touch more space and avoids foot traffic. Power and tech are the weak links on this sub-fleet. Wi-Fi is not guaranteed and outlets vary by tail. With a weaker hard product, the soft product carries the weight. The first thing we were offered were towels and a drink, and positive energy, which is rare. Call me crazy, but on most days I'd rather have good vibes and an older product over the inverse. The thing we found out only after boarding finished was that we were the only ones in business class. This meant we had the entire cabin to ourselves, which is an experience. Taking a look at the menu, there's a lot of wines, aperitifs, spirits, cognac, and other drinks to pick from. For mains, we had the choice of chicken, seafood pizza, or a vegetable pastry. Unsurprisingly, I opted for their signature chicken. The curry is mild and coconut forward, and the chicken stays tender instead of stringy. Pretty tasty in my book, and I'd recommend it. The tray comes with a few different types of rice as well, which is pretty unique. There was also a croissant, but pretty normal there. As a finisher, you have fruit and a dessert, which were both tasty. Great meal overall, and definitely an interesting dining experience since Mandy and I sat on different sides of the plane. Pro tip, ask for strong tea to finish, it pairs well with the spice. Overall, the plating is simple, but the flavors land and feel distinctly Sri Lankan. The Singapore to Colombo flight is about 3 hours and 50 minutes, so plenty of time to relax. You can adjust the seats, and it is a full lie flat, meaning you can nap or sleep if you want. Overall, it's an older plane and older IFE, but the food was tasty and the service shined, so I'd happily do it again. After arriving, we were off to the Shangri-La.
Hey guys, it's Sebastian, and we are going to do a quick room tour of the Shangri-La in Colombo. This is one of the better hotels available here, and it's an interesting one because we are actually here on the day of the grand opening of their mall. First thing is we do have a view, looks pretty cool, and I think they're going to add some developments here in the future. It's going to be called the Port City from what I understand, with a lot of different attractions and things to do. Over here we have the rest of the room, pretty straightforward. You have a king-size bed, you have TV over there as well as a seat, and you have another area to lounge if you want to enjoy the view. Some plants over here as well as 2 little elephants. Pretty cool decorations for these ones. Like I like things that are not just the regular stands. We have some welcome fruits, in-room dining menu, and also some chocolates. Closet, area for bags, and our room is right here. So this one is obviously bigger, the corner ones. We have a pretty normal sized room, but it is technically an upgrade from what we booked. We booked the most basic room and we used Fine Hotel and Resorts, so we got upgraded to technically a better view. Here is the bathroom, pretty nice shower area, 1 sink and then a tub as well. So since we don't have too much time here, and also since we have that $100 credit to use, we're going to probably go to the spa, is Mandy's plan, and then afterwards go to the mall when we're allowed in at 3 p.m. So this is the grand opening of One Gulf Face. Right now they have the Prime Minister and like celebrities there, and there's a lot of security, but it officially opens for normies like us at 3.
Shangri-La Colombo sits on Gulf Face, facing the Indian Ocean and attached to One Gulf Face Mall. Facilities check the big boxes. The outdoor pool overlooks the water and works for a reset. The gym is also pretty nice and well equipped for a hotel in this category. Maybe it's because of the food poisoning the day before or the fact I was already stuffed with food, but we opted to play it safe with McDonald's. So here they had wings, which I wish they brought to the US. The mall also has a bunch of shops, including jewelry and luxury goods. If that's your jam, there's actually a lot of good options here, and this is where Mandy picked up a lot of her more expensive pieces. Even though breakfast was included in our rate, since we had a morning flight, we didn't have enough time. They ended up packing us a to-go pastry box though, which was unexpected and great service. Despite leaving on time, we ran into more traffic than expected. We were almost late for the plane since the gate was super far away. Lucky for us, we ended up getting a ride in their cart and everything worked out.
Hey guys, it's Sebastian, and today we are flying from Colombo to Mali via SriLankan Airlines Business Class. We are on the 300 product, which is a bit better than the 200 product, which we took over from Singapore. Initially it was also supposed to be this one, but they had a product swap, equipment swap. So let's take a look. One of the big first things I noticed is that the seating arrangement is very different. So it's going to be more room-based, more capsule-y, and you get a lot more privacy than the other 200 setup. You can see Mandy right there. That's probably a better view of the seat. So everything is still pretty springy, which makes me think that it's actually a very new plane compared to some of the other products that are the same plane that we've taken that feel a bit more janky because they're probably older. So even with the remote, you can see that it's closer to a smartphone than the old traditional remotes that you think of when you think of planes. This is a 1-hour flight, so we don't have too much time, but remote, light, 3 light settings, but it's hard to tell when it's, maybe not, only 2 light settings. USB plug, nothing, headphone jack, power, and the seat does go back. So we'll show you guys the bed afterwards. Bunch of leg room if you want to stretch out. Pillow, you have this little area for storage. I actually have vents right here, which is, I don't think I've noticed these before in the past. If you want to hang something up, like your headphones, this is going to be the breakfast. We are taking a morning flight, ended up getting the SriLankan item again, which is a bit different this time. So I think the chicken is spicier than last time, is my reading. but it's still the same trio of rice, taro, coconut milk, and then I think regular with, spicy curry. Pretty much exactly the same as last time. I think just better presentation from all of this. So I ended up taking pictures of Mandy for the last 20 minutes or so because she wanted a lot of pictures, but I still ate most of this. This is actually better than yesterday. I'm not sure why. I feel like the chicken is a bit more tender. Yesterday's, the flavor was there, but the chicken wasn't as good. Today, it's kind of the best of both worlds. Yeah, really good.
The Colombo to Male flight is on the shorter end at about 90 minutes, but still a great experience. The reason we did our crazy roading was actually to try Sri Lankan's new product, since we figured we'd never do it in any other situation, so why not? Once you land, you take stairs off the plane and head into the terminal. From there, you can head into the city or take seaplanes or boats to resorts within the Maldives. The next stop for us is the St. Regis and one of their crown jewels. Overall, this was definitely a strange and hectic 5 days of traveling, but what fun adventures are made of. I also realized we really like contrast in what we do. In Hanoi, we stayed at a fancy JW Marriott by the lake. We also walked on train tracks over a bridge to take pictures. In Singapore, I got food poisoning and shut down for a day, but also got to hang out at the best airport in the world and lounge hop and eat laksa, which is one of my favorite dishes. In Colombo, I ate McDonald's, while Mandy spent almost 5 figures on jewelry. Even with Sri Lankan, we got to try both their old and new product to see the contrast. As a wise man once said, sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. One of the best ways to try this type of high contrast travel is with points and miles. On that note, if you want to learn more about cards to get points, we have links on the website asksebby.com and down below in the description box. Also, if you're looking to book hotels and get VIP benefits, check out cardonomics.com or the link below. If you made it to this point, leave a tea or hot beverage emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions. What's been your craziest trip itinerary? What are your thoughts on the JW Hanoi and Shangri-La Colombo? And would you fly SriLankan Airlines? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, hit the like button, subscribe, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you on the road.